all of the reasons why your mind is restless, all of the negative thinking, all of the stress, all of the reasons why you feel lonely, or all of the reasons why you think your life is not good enough. All of that, the reason why seems very difficult to fix it, even for very intelligent people, it is because it is actually a superficial layer of your mind. You're way deeper than that. So what you need is not fixing your life. It is not, of course, please, and inserting here, be responsible. I'm not saying be just passive and freeze. No, do what you have to do, but don't make a big deal out of it. Just do what you have to do. And the place that you have to go for, look for the peace and the contentment and the happiness and the enjoyment and the freedom that you're missing, it is not outside. It's not in the world. Nothing will. That's because we're trying to stop this. How would I say? It's like diversion. It's like your mind is dividing your experience all the time, like in tiny parts, and that's why you cannot fix it, because you cannot just grab one part and that solve the whole thing. So your only option is to go down and go to the root and realize that you're actually, the only thing that you need is clarity. Because that clarity will allow you to perceive clearly. And in that clarity, like someone waking up from a nightmare, it's just that in this case is while you're alive and awake in your life, you will suddenly start noticing that all these problems or this overthinking is just a restless, profound sensation that it's like a trauma. It's like an unconscious fear. So the only antidote for that is clarity. And clarity in this case means that you are clearly perceiving what's happening in your mind, what's passing through your mind, but not as a content, not like, oh, this person did this to me, or there are all these negative things about me. All these thoughts, they don't matter. They are partial information. They're not right. They cannot be the truth. So you are just trying to observe the mind as a system. So instead of focusing on your mind telling you why, all the reasons why you should feel bad, afraid, you should feel, I don't know, you fill up with the word of the emotion that it kind of torments you, that it makes you feel less than enjoying and fully living every moment. So all that is actually based not in the content of these thoughts, but in their movement. So you have to observe the patterns of these thoughts in your mind. And you will realize that all these comparted thoughts, all this overthinking, the amount of thinking is correlated with the quality of this thinking. So all your negative thinking, all the reasons why you say, oh, I'm wrong, there's something wrong with me, there's all that is because you're overthinking. It correlates the amount of activity in your mind. Why is that important? Because hopefully that makes you see that instead of just trying to just run around like putting down fires, you just have to start like step back and see the matrix of all these cascade of thoughts that are crossing your mind, and don't give attention to the content of themselves, but just see the pattern. And the first pattern that I want you to see is just the amount of them, the desperation of the thinking. Like you cannot just sit in a bench, like for example, the other one. That's a beautiful bench, if you could, to sit and just observe a beautiful day. Why not? I know in this case I'm in a beautiful place, but you can just do it in anywhere. It just doesn't matter where you are. Just sitting and just give yourself some time to rest. And instead of solving with your mind, just give yourself the time to see what happens. And don't think, in the sense of don't follow your thoughts, don't analyze the content, don't think you're gonna find a solution, and just observe that kind of restlessness of that you can stop doing it. And this is a very, very important first step. So you sit and you just notice you don't own your mind. Your mind is not yours. Can you feel that? Can you sit and notice how you didn't choose to overthink? You didn't choose to have all these negative thoughts about yourself or about anyone else. Or can you feel how you didn't really choose it? So rest in that recognition, and then, only then, you will that way you step back a little out of the pattern and just try to see if you can follow backwards, trace backwards all this opening of myriad of thoughts into more basic thoughts, that what people normally call beliefs, but it's just overarching, grouping, archetype thinking. It's just some thoughts that are grouping, and they break into many different thoughts. So in this way, you condense your thinking into just basic thinking. Just some very basic thinking, and you don't have to do it. You just have to step back from it, and you'll see that at some point there are less thoughts. And at that point, you will start already noticing like your life is a lot better. You start feeling more at ease. Your body starts relaxing. And this is just the beginning. You keep tracing back all these thoughts down to a depth that seems incredible. You're going to start finding what you shouldn't have lost contact with, and that is your natural peace. Beauty is so beautiful. You are so beautiful. Your life is so perfect in so many ways, but it's impossible to understand it if you are distracted overthinking. And many times you say, yeah, but I cannot stop overthinking. And I'm telling you, you haven't tried, really. And you may say, yeah, well, I tried. I tried to meditate. I tried to do this and that, and things kind of work a little bit, but they don't work so much. Then, in that case, I would say, okay, you haven't really found a good system. You really haven't really met someone who was more advanced than you that will help you figure out the blind spots that may be in your place. There's structure for everything. Of course, under this video, you will find, whether in the comments or in the description, you're going to find a link. I have my personal proposition. It's not personal. I'm actually just transmitting teachings that have been transmitted to me. So I'm just trying to help you in the same way that I have been helped before. So there are ways, there are structures that you can trace and practice all these things that I'm telling you and do it. And I'm not saying you should do the one that I'm telling you to do. I'm not telling you to do that one. Please do any one. I'm just saying you should have a quality standard in your meditation. Just don't meditate randomly. Just following guided meditation, that's okay. That's a way of getting in touch and find it. No, you have to be able to do it all the time, all day. And in order to do that, you need to really understand what are the mechanics that makes a meditation and how all this process of observing your own mind and observing the world around you really are. Okay, so you need help, please just click the link down there and you will find a community. Actually, tomorrow we have, not today, we have an online meeting. But anyway, just trying to say that there is people out there. If you look for help, you're going to find it, not just in this case of what I'm suggesting you, but look around, find a community. Hopefully don't pay so much money. Say this because sometimes some people are, I would say, I don't know, it's probably a business model. Probably there's nothing wrong with it, but sometimes people ask for a lot of money or have a kind of like a business. Of course, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about maybe there's a Buddhist center around you, maybe there's, definitely just pick a book that makes sense and follow a structure and rise the quality. Rise the quality. There has to be progress in meditation. This is not just like you sit and you space out. And yeah, I know many people have been meditating for many years like that and nothing really happened. They didn't seem to, they report not having been in touch with this deeper peace and joy and transcendental bliss that it is there for you. That is you. That's your natural state. It just seems difficult to reach when your mind is overthinking. But there are structures of practice. There are ways. You can try this, you can try that. You're certainly going to find a tool that will help you. So I hope this video suggested you and inspired you to actually do it. Just do it. That's the only thing between where you are and where you want to be. That is exactly where you are, actually. But in the mental space of being fixed in your life and not feeling that you're living the life that is the most perfect permutation of possibilities. It's just a thought that tells you that's not the truth. When you really look at it deeply, profoundly, at your experience, things start unveiling. You're not doing anything. It's just with the clarity of the depth, you start feeling it in every part of your being. That is the truth. Everything is okay.